It's the one and only Despotic. I bring you bitches tips and tricks gameplay. This is preparing for Battlefield 3. Now, this is for new players, right? This isn't for like existing players. Wow, this commentary is going to be really long. This tips and tricks is going to be really long. I have like 16 minutes to impart to you, just the secrets that a lot of people don't say to you, right? You'll see like videos where people are like, yeah, how to be an aggressive sniper. Bullshit, right? They didn't just pick the game up and said, hey, I'm just going to use the recon class and be an aggressive sniper. No, they've had, a decent amount of time playing the game, and they realize how the game mechanics functions, and then they're able to do that. But if you're a new player to Battlefield, right, and in the long run, I think this actually benefits the game as a whole, because you don't want new players getting in and then they're like all disillusioned and they're like, oh, this game sucks because I can't really do well. But I'm gonna give you guys, I'm gonna give you the 411 on how to really do well in Battlefield, or just to hold your own and not really get destroyed. So I'm playing Conquest here, and the first thing I will say, and this is for new players, right? You might be coming from Gears of War, you might be coming from Call of Duty. Do not play Conquest, right? The reason I say that, do not play Conquest the moment you get the game, because the first thing that I'll say to you is the fact that lots and lots of veteran players are, the moment the game comes out, they will be playing Conquest, and they have a stacked party. Like, for example, when this game comes out, I've already got my spot where I'll be going in with a team, and these guys are beasts, and we're going to be playing Conquest. A majority of the time, we will be playing Conquest. And the last thing you want to happen is you run into a squad like Despotic. Despotic being in a Conquest squad, you will get destroyed. It's simple as that. So do not play Conquest unless you're playing with people who play Battlefield, and they're familiar with Battlefield, and they know exactly what to do, and then maybe you might have a fighting chance. But the thing is, I'm trying to prevent you guys from having a short-term kind of liking for Battlefield, and then you're like, oh, I don't like it because I died too many times. So the first thing I would say is, and this is for Battlefield 3, and I've played the beta extensively, and I have a decent understanding of what the game will be like. Do not play Conquest your first night, right? Play Rush. And most of you might say, well, why not play Squad Deathmatch? No one plays it. No one plays Squad Deathmatch, and you'll get into a match with like maybe like 6 people in there, and you'll be bored, and you're like, oh, I can go play Call of Duty. Why play this? Right? I want you guys to understand that this game is not a game where it's like instant gratification. The more time you put into the game, the better the game will get for you. So the first thing I'm going to say to you guys, do not play Conquest. Play Rush. And the reason I'm saying don't play Conquest, there's several reasons. The first reason is you're playing against veteran players who are stacking their teams. Their squads are like 4-man deep, and they will be coming to just destroy you. Right? That's what I'm planning on doing, right? Catching noobs, playing the games, and just playing this game for the first time and destroying them. Right? So don't play Conquest. The second thing is, in Conquest, there's so many flags that you have to capture that you can easily be flanked, right? Let's say you capture the B flag and the C and D flags aren't captured. You don't know where these guys are coming from, and if you're not in a squad whereby your squad mates are telling you like, hey, they're coming from this section, then you'll be lost. And you know what happens? You're going to incur so many deaths. You're going to be like, man, fuck this game. I don't want to play it. So that's one of the reasons, well, that's the second reason why I'm saying do not play Conquest the moment you get the game. Play Rush. And the reason I'm saying play Rush, because lots of people have played the beta. And even if you don't have a squad in Rush, you can kind of gauge where guys are coming. You can kind of understand where people are, going to be killing you. Look at the bad aim right there, right? If I would have killed that guy, then I wouldn't have died here. I would have prevented his teammate from spawning on him. But you can kind of gauge where things are coming, and you really don't have to worry about people flanking you. So that's the one thing I would say about Rush. And the fact is, the game is a lot longer meaning you can, try different, game types. You really don't have to run that much with rush. You're running back and forth, and you're constantly having to watch your back. And I think it's fine for, like, players who are veterans or players who have some experience. I know I'm going on and on about this, but it's very important. So play rush, right? You can gauge what's going on. And I know some veterans are going to be like, oh, how dare he say that? But look, I've played Battlefield extensively. I can honestly say I'm a Battlefield player. And I'm giving these tips for people who are new players, right? We want more people playing this game, more people appreciating and understanding why, it is that lots and lots of people like this game, right? So, and it's quality, right? So let's get back to this, right? Play rush. You kind of have a gauge of what's going on. The odds of you being flanked compared to Conquest are less in terms of percentage. That's the second thing, right? The third thing would be in Bad Company 2, the light machine guns, like, they didn't have a lot of recoil, but in Battlefield 3, they have a lot of recoil. They have more recoil than the assault rifle. They have more recoil than the engineering class, and to some extent, they have more recoil than the sniper rifles. If you take the sniper rifles off, the scopes off them, then I think that's pretty nice. But my advice to you is stay with the engineering class. That, out of all of the classes, that class has the least amount of recoil. So let's say, for example, you're coming from a COD game and you're not really accustomed to the amount of recoil that Battlefield games, have, right? You have to burst fire. You can't be, going fully auto across the map. You will not hit anyone. You will die. So use the engineering class. In Bad Company 2 is a bit different because, light machine guns don't have as much recoil versus, compared to Battlefield 3. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Use the engineering class. That allows you to shoot down air support, allows you to shoot down tanks. Some of you might have issues with vehicles, so that's why I'm saying use the engineering class. Now, if you want to use a class, well, the second class I would use is more the assault, because that offers like a medic pack where you can revive people and you can replenish your health. So play rush, use the engineering class because it has the least amount of recoil. If you want to choose something else, I would choose the assault class, and then the next one would be like maybe the recon, because you can basically set up a mobile spawn point and you actually can decide where you want to spawn, which is pretty good. Do that. It's gonna help you out a lot, and that also leads me into like my fourth tip. Choose your spawn carefully. Like you might want to really get into the battle, and you're like, wow, this guy is over there, but you really can't tell what's going on. So the best thing to do is to choose your spawn carefully. If you know that, look, if you spawn here, there's a gunfight, and you really don't know what's going on, the best thing to do is to spawn at one of those checkpoints. Meaning, like, let's say you're at the second base, you'll spawn back at the first base, or if you're at the third base, you'll spawn back at the second base. So most of you might be thinking, like, why is he saying that? It's going to prevent you from getting frustrated, because once you spawn and you die, you get frustrated and you're like, what the fuck, I don't like this game, then you leave. Okay, another thing, don't run as much as you think you should run, right? This game is expansive, the maps are expansive, but there's this incentive to think that you should be running. Don't do that. You get to a certain spot, look around, survey the terrain, and then decide to move, right? You don't want to be caught sprinting. This game moves at 30 frames per second. You will get decimated if you think sprinting and then aiming down sight. It's not a twitch shooter. It's more of a tactical shooter. So run less. Okay, so I said play rush, use the engineer class, then I would use the assault class, then I would use recon, and lastly support, right? Support is where you get to replenish your ammo, which is pretty cool, but I think a lot of guys would prefer just having the least amount of recoil, because that's one thing that will get you killed. Like if you're spraying and praying, and you might find that to be an issue. And to any of those people looking at this and saying, well, no, you know, what's wrong with them playing Rush? I'm sorry, what's wrong with them playing Conquest? You know, I would say the same thing. You know, if someone said something to, if someone said to a new player getting into a COD game, let's say Black Ops, or Modern Warfare 2, and you say, oh, you started the game, go play Search and Destroy. Now, me being a veteran player of Call of Duty, I know for a fact, you send any new player into Search and Destroy, that person is going to get destroyed. You know, that person has zero experience. And for all of you people who play Call of Duty, you know for a fact that Search and Destroy is very intense. People are very methodical. They tend to be better players, and they frown on the fact that, oh, it's a, you know, going to domination, getting 100 kill games, and going into TDM and talking about you're a pro. But Search and Destroy players, you know, these guys have some kind of, you know, it's like I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm not even gonna say it anyway. So it's the same way. Don't send someone into Conquest unless they have a full party. And even if they do have a full party and they're complete noobs, they're still gonna get owned, right? This game does not reward you for not thinking, right? If you think, you play strategically, then you will be rewarded. If you play like, hey, this is Call of Duty and I need to run and gun, you will get destroyed. So keep these tips in mind. Do not, for the first week of the game of Battlefield 3, do not play Conquest. Play Rush. You have a better chance of being a lone wolf in a sense, even if you don't roll with a party, because most of your friends are thinking about playing Modern Warfare 3 anyway, and they're like, ah, fuck, Battlefield sucks. So just keep that in mind. You want to have a good experience that's lasting. Okay? Yeah, I know I'm sounding kind of cheesy here, but it's the facts. Play Rush. Use the engineer class so you can shoot down enemy aircraft. You can destroy tanks, etc. Least amount of recoil. You can burst fire. People get close to you. You can hip fire. You know, the chances of you getting flanked in Rush are not as high in terms of percentage as it is when it comes to Conquest, because I said this before, you know, you capture A and B, or you capture B and the opposing team has C and A, you're assed out because you don't know where they're coming from. And if you're not playing with a squad and you don't know that, hey, maybe they're coming from this section, then you might have an issue. Okay, so just keep that in mind, people. Just keep it in mind that, you know, my ultimate goal is to make sure that more people are playing this game, and I would rather give them, you know, good tips and tricks as opposed to like, oh, this is not calling anyone out or anything like that, but it's just, I find it strange, right, that, you know, most of the videos you see on YouTube about Battlefield 3, and people wonder why no one wants to play the game from time to time, right? It's like, oh, 90% of the gameplay you see on Battlefield is snipers, right? And there's some montage going on, or some dude's like, hey, this is how you can become this is how you can become an aggressive sniper, right? Jumping around, you know, hitting people, no scoping them. You know, new players, novice players don't know how to do that. And, you know, people are painting this kind of picture like, hey, you just jump on and do that. No. And most of those people who are playing, they're usually playing with a squad. So, and this is not me hating on anyone or anything like that. I'm just saying, look, if you're going to give tips, be realistic, right? I'm tired of seeing people giving tips and they're like, oh, this is how you capture this base. And they jump in, come out of nowhere, you know, drop down with the parachute, no scope the one guy, switch to their secondary, kill that one guy, throw the C4, blow that up, and they expect, oh, a new player, a novice player to do that? No, right? Be realistic. That's why when players get in, they're very cautious. They don't want to move around. So if you guys think about the things I've said, play Rush, right? You're less likely to be flanked. Play, use the engineering class. Okay, run less. Right, even though you have a limited sprint, you should run less. Just be careful of your surroundings. Spot people. Spotting is very important, right? A lot of people don't do this because they're like, oh, they forget how to spot. But spotting is a very important part of Battlefield. If you hit select on PS3, or you hit the back button on the Xbox. I don't know what it is on the PC because I don't play PC first-person shooters. I don't do that. But I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's something on the mouse. But yeah, man, just keep that in mind. Hopefully this helped you out. Anyway, it's the one and only Despotic. Deuces, bitches. Oh yeah, and cap flags, man. Cap flags. That's the major thing you can do to get a good win, because in Battlefield, winning is the most important thing, and everything else comes secondary. Deuces.